Well, addictions is always an attempt to soothe or soften some kind of pain. It's always that. So people are severely traumatized, they have a lot of pain. So they're much more likely to become addicted. Now, unfortunately, in our society, a lot of kids are become addicted even when they were not severely traumatized. Why? Because there's two ways that you can hurt kids. One is you can do bad things to them, like sexual, physical, emotional abuse and beatings, and or if they grow up in a home where there's addiction or alcoholism, or the parents are fighting all the time, or there's violence. So you can hurt kids that way, and they'll be much more likely to engage in addictions just to get away from the pain. But you can also hurt kids another way, not by doing bad things to them that you shouldn't, but by not meeting their needs. Now, the biggest need for the child is a secure, safe attachment relationship with the parents. So when the parents are not able to provide that, that child is hurt. Even though the parents love the child, but if they're too busy or too stressed or too traumatized or physically not available, emotionally not available, um, that child is still going to be hurt. If you look at addictions, most people begin addictions under the influence of their peers. So the less strong the relationship between parents and kids are, the stronger the relationship between the peers are between kids. And now kids are very prone to take bad advice from their peers or to follow their peers. So if their peers are drinking, they're going to drink. If the peers are using drugs, they're going to use drugs. What drives the addiction is the pain of loss of love or loss of relationship, and what drives addiction is the influence of the peer group. And the two go together.
Relational needs are our dominant, preeminent need. The need to be liked, to be with, to belong, to matter, the need for love, the need for an invitation to exist in this world and in the presence of another. Uh, these, if we don't meet these needs, then they are likely to look to others to meet these needs, to be feeding at somebody else's table. And again, children weren't meant to take care of each other. That wasn't the way it was meant to be. We are their best bet. In addition, not only do they not feel cared for, our care doesn't get through, and so they end up to be quite starving. And that is the crisis of care today. The crisis of mental health is that children don't feel cared for, but we don't get to be the uh, we don't get uh, to have the sense of fulfillment that comes from being the answer to another. So we all suffer in this way. In addition, as I talk about in the book, we simply don't have the power. The power doesn't come from knowledge. It comes from the child's attachment to us. The more the child attaches to us, the more they want to be good for us, the more they open up to our influence. So all the power we really have, the true power in parenting, comes not from our superiority in physical strength or in knowledge or in knowing what to do, but simply from their attachment to us. And if we lose that, uh, we we lose the ability to be their answers. We lose the fulfillment that comes from that, and they lose the caring that really can only come from us.